Well, speaking of the results of being banged up after a lot of matches, the next match on the card was a 6-man tag team match with Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and poor old Minoru Suzuki going against Darby Allin, Sting, and Naito. And Naito came out to wrestle in the same 3-piece white suit and cape that he wore on television. And it took forever to take it off. And then he's still wrestling in a T-shirt that's underneath that. And apparently is Naito somewhere around 50 years old? Do you have any idea how old this young man is?
Naito is 41 years old.
Gee, all right. Anyway.
Hey, let me ask you, what's a bigger death spot on this show? The Willow Nightingale, Tony Storm match, which came out of the BCC 10-man tag match, or this coming out of Ospreay Omega 40 minutes?
This one, because it's an hour later and they did even more stupid shit that you can't follow. So and there's poor Sting out there, 64 years old or whatever, still trying to do all this shit. And it was 3 hours and 7 minutes into the main show. So 4 hours, 7 minutes for the people in the building before these guys got started. And again, then Darby and Suzuki. And Darby was just standing there and allowing Suzuki to hit him with the forearms and the chops. And Suzuki's knocking the shit out of him. And Darby will then hit the guy back and he won't sell it. Doesn't even move.
You know what hit me watching that? Suzuki either was not much bigger than Darby or was like the same size as Darby.
Yes. He's got a little bit bigger upper body, but that's what I'm saying. You got this guy that looks like he could break like an egg, who's a legend, but nobody here knows that. And he can't not only can't carry that off anymore in the ring, but also does all this other stupid shit that apparently everybody in Japan, as well as everybody in America, does these days. So Suzuki's embarrassing to look at. And then Jericho and Sting, they had to get in there together. So Sting gets Jericho in a scorpion deathlock, and Sammy comes off the top with a cutter and almost killed Sting. Because he's got the guy in the fucking scorpion, the sharpshooter. And when Sammy comes off, he's tied up with Jericho's legs. He can't just take a face first bump. He'll take a bump on Jericho's legs. So he just bent over and oh my God. So
Sting allows them to do this. This isn't the first time we've seen him be involved with something in AEW. You're like, oh my God, I can't believe Sting's doing that.
I know. And everything came to a halt, and the crowd was quiet anyway, because after the last fiasco, there was nothing left to be done. And hold on, I skipped a page. I turned 2 pages. Darby and Sammy did some stuff. Darby cold tagged Naito. Naito made a half-ass comeback on Jericho. All the heels got sleepers on all the baby faces. Well, that's a spot you see all the fucking time. Darby dove on Suzuki. He dove at Jericho, but Jericho hit him with a Judas. And he was still out about 5 minutes later. So Jericho pulls out a table and puts Sting on it, on the floor. And he tells Sammy, I'm your boss. Jump off the top rope and put Sting through that table. And that's what Sammy does. He gets up on top and he does a double flipping cannonball off the top onto Sting, putting him through the fucking table on the floor. Right? And Sting at the last minute, like, oh, this fucking guy coming. Why? Good God, Sting, you got money and health. Why? So anyway, then Jericho gets the walls of Jericho on fucking Naito, and Sting is back in the ring already to try to break it up, and he gets a scorpion on Jericho. But Sammy is, the guy that delivered the fucking move, is hurt out on the floor, but Sting got back in the ring. And then they did a bunch of sloppy shit to a lot of people, and Naito pinned Suzuki. What were we looking at here?
This was not good. Now, again, I was, to be fair, kind of a little bit out of it for this match because now that I knew I had a match buffering me between the Omega Ospreay match versus then Okada versus Danielson, I did use this as a chance to go and get food and do a couple things.
Wait a minute, I thought you got food during the girls' match.
This is like an hour later. This is like a while later, a couple hours later.
How many meals a day do you eat?
Well, maybe I went outside to smoke a joint. Look, I did something else other than watch all of this match, but I had the BR Live shit on my phone, so I was able to take it with me. I can't believe what Sting's doing. I guess we still have to wait for more of the Jericho-Sammy stuff. This was in a death spot. Said something about how Jericho's placed here. I don't know how anyone could have cared about this match. Everyone was just ready for the next match.
Everybody, I think, was ready to start their car up and head on to the house.